Hi, my name is Daniel Almonte. I'm an assistant professor of population and quantitative health sciences in the Division of Health Informatics and Implementation Science at the UMass Chan Medical School in Worcester, Massachusetts. In this video, I will briefly present details regarding enhancing implementation of a diabetes self-management program through user-centered design and usability testing of the DM Boost project. The background of this project is that diabetes self-management training, also known as diabetes self-management education and support, has been shown to improve outcomes for patients with type 2 diabetes. With effectiveness of DSMT being established, the American Diabetes Association has recommended in their standards of medical care in diabetes that all patients with diabetes complete DSMT. Unfortunately, research has shown that as few as 5% of Medicare and 7% of private insurance beneficiaries with diabetes actually complete this recommended guideline of diabetes care. Thus, the objective of this study is to enhance patient engagement and experience with diabetes self-management training. To accomplish this, we recruited a patient research expert panel, which we call the study's PrEP team, to co-develop and usability test a diabetes mellitus program using behavioral economics to optimize outreach and self-management support with technology, or DM Boost for short. When initially conceptualizing the intervention, we looked for insights from the fields of behavioral economics and the self-determination theory to figure out how we could effectively increase patient engagement with diabetes self-management training. As we began mapping out behavioral economics concepts with self-determination theory constructs, we decided to focus on the use of defaults and choice architecture to increase patient autonomy, to tap into herd behavior and patient peer-to-peer support to increase relatedness of the intervention, and to leverage the phenomena of commitment bias and loss aversion during a telehealth training session to increase patient self-management competence. We believe that increasing patient engagement with DSMT will result in improvements in addition to the targeted outcomes, including patient self-efficacy, treatment satisfaction, diabetes self-managed behaviors, and ultimately HbA1c. To develop this intervention, we deployed a multi-step user-centered design process alongside our PrEP team. First, we had convened the PrEP team in a virtual community engagement studio group meeting to understand context and the barriers and facilitators to engaging in DSMT that our patient experts had experienced. The result of the CE studio was a list of recommendations from the patients of components to include in the intervention. Next, we conducted individual, semi-structured interviews with each of the patient experts to better define the intervention components so that they would meet the patient needs. During this session, we also asked each patient expert to provide tips for other patients regarding the 7 self-care behaviors of diabetes management and the use of MyChart patient portal to assist with health management. From the data collected from the CE studios and the individual interviews, we then developed a prototype of the intervention and the study protocol. Lastly, we had each patient expert usability test the intervention from start to finish and provide user experience input using the Think Aloud protocol. These insights helped us better understand implementation context and end users' needs and allowed us to further refine the intervention prior to feasibility piloting. The study's patient research expert panel consisted of 4 adults, 2 of which identified as being female and 2 as male, with ages ranging from 25 to 64 years old. All PrEP team members had type 2 diabetes and had previously completed DSMT at the UMass Memorial Diabetes Center. Key recommendations from the CE studio included proactively engaging patients to promote DSMT completion, highlighting positive experiences and stories from other patients, assisting patients with scheduling DSMT appointments. And as the CE studio was conducted during the first year of the pandemic, they encouraged us to endorse telehealth DSMT as a viable option. During usability testing, a few key themes emerged that led to further adaptations of the intervention. The PrEP team wanted us to help address access challenges, particularly with navigating insurance coverage of DSMT, and for people with in-person appointments, they wanted us to help them know how to actually get to the diabetes center amongst a growing hospital campus that can be intimidating for patients who had never been there before. The PrEP also encouraged us to establish trust with the patients by highlighting the partnership between the project and the patient's PCP, as well as the UMass Memorial Diabetes Center. Lastly, the PrEP team wanted us to make sure that the project supported patients by demonstrating patient portal functionality and guiding them through initial use of the portal. With the input from the prep in hand, we finalized the intervention components prior to feasibility piloting. Intervention components consisted of a mailed invitation, as you'll see here, which told patients that they were eligible for DSMT and gave them choices to state their communication preferences. The invitation had an opt-out component, so for patients who did not send the invitation back, the DM Boost team would call them to assess their interest in DSMT and the DM Boost project. After assisting interested patients in getting a DSMT referral and appointment scheduled, the next intervention component consisted of a text messaging system that sent the preps peer-written diabetes self-management tips, followed by a nudge to reply with their own personal self-management preferences. These text messages were sent twice a week at days and times recommended by the prep team for each week leading up to the scheduled DSMT appointment. The last intervention component was what we called a telehealth training session with the DM Boost team during the week prior to their DSMT scheduled appointment. During this training, the DM Boost team members would verify the patient's MyChart patient portal access, walk them through key functionality of the portal, and prepare them for how to access a telehealth session. Next, they would review the text message replies and begin the goal setting process. After setting a personalized goal, the patient would receive a MyChart message from the DM Boost team with the goal that they set and would commit to sending a MyChart message with that goal to the certified diabetes care and education specialist that they were scheduled to meet with. As the DM Boost program was developed with direct insights from patients who had previously completed DSMT, we hope that it will increase patient engagement and experience with DSMT. A randomized feasibility pilot of the intervention with 60 patients has recently been completed with results forthcoming. Next, the intervention will be culturally adapted to help Spanish-speaking Latinx patients. We hope that this work will serve as a valuable guide for how to involve patients in the development and refinement of technology-based interventions that are proactive, nimble, and responsive to patients' self-management demands. Thanks for watching. I can be reached here at my email address, daniel.amonte@umassmed.edu, or you can follow me on Twitter at djamonte. For acknowledgements, I'd like to acknowledge my funding, in particular my KL2 award through NCADS and my current KO1 award through the NITDK. And also, most importantly, this work would not be possible without the contributions of the DM Boost Patient Research Expert Panel. I'd also like to thank my mentor team, who are co-authors on this presentation. Thank you.